Alright, let's get into it. Hook. Hey, guys, I've got some shocking news to share with you today. A 22-year-old named Jayla Heaven was tragically killed at a party, and a man was injured. Stay tuned as we delve into the details of this heartbreaking incident. First off, let me set the scene for you. This terrible tragedy unfolded at a party, turning what should have been a night of fun into a nightmare for everyone involved. The central issue here is the violence that erupted at the party, leaving Jayla Heaven dead and a man wounded. The impact of such senseless acts of violence not only affects the victims but also sends shockwaves through the entire community.
Right now, a family is in mourning after a shooting in Hartford. One woman is dead and a man is hurt after shots rang out at a house party. This happened overnight.
This is tragedy for sure. NBC Connecticut is the only TV station that spoke exclusively with the victim's family. Briseida Landavera joining us now live from Hartford tonight with the very latest on all of this. Briseida.
Yeah, well, Shannon and Keisha, the 22-year-old victim has been identified as Jayla Heaven. Now, I spoke with her siblings earlier who were shocked to learn that their sister is no longer with them. The family of Jayla Heaven receiving heartbreaking news on the 4th of July holiday.
It's a tragic because, like I said, that's my baby sister. So, and the gun violence in Hartford is crazy.
Hartford police say officers were called to Schultes Place just after 2 this morning for reports of a shooting at a house party.
A female victim was located in the rear, unresponsive, suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. She was transported to an area hospital where she's ultimately pronounced deceased.
Police say Jayla was the 22-year-old female victim. Her siblings telling NBC Connecticut they were shocked to hear the tragic news.
Can't believe that's my sister. Can't believe she going.
Authorities say a male victim was also struck during the shooting. He showed up at a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
We do believe that our homicide victim and our non-fatal victim were not intended targets or caught in the crossfire.
At last check, police have not identified a suspect, but they are asking anyone who may have attended the party and saw something to please come forward with any information.
There were dozens of people that watched this happen. Dozens. We need a call. We need a phone call, a tip, something to point us in the right direction here.
Meanwhile, one local resident who did not wish to be on camera tells us she is concerned for her community.
Especially on July 4th that this shooting had to happen. It's really dangerous.
Again, police are asking you if you have any information to please contact the Hartford Police Department. Now, coming up at 6, we will hear more from Jayla's family and how she will be remembered. For now, live in Hartford, Briseida Landaverde, NBC Connecticut News.
Yeah, these past few days have been extremely difficult for the family of 22-year-old Jayla Heaven, who her cousin says was a light to all who knew her. The family wants answers, and they're asking anyone in the community who knows something about what happened to come forward.
It was a senseless, tragic thing that happened, and we just asking that whoever knows something come forward, because if it was your child, that's what you would want, because she had a whole life ahead of her.
A life taken too soon. 22-year-old Jayla Heaven killed in a shooting at a house party on Schultes Place in Hartford early Monday morning, according to Hartford police. Family and friends gathering together Thursday night on the street where it all happened to remember the young woman.
She was a sparkle. She was a light. Jayla could cook. She did it all. I mean, there was nothing Jayla couldn't do. So right now, somebody cut the life short of somebody who could have been anything she wanted to be.
Police say Heaven and a man in his 20s who was also shot were caught in the crossfire of a fight and were not the intended targets. That man is expected to be okay. Local group Mothers United Against Violence held a prayer vigil in Heaven's honor Thursday night. Family and friends lighting a candle as they mourn her loss. They're hoping someone will speak up about what happened. The shooter still on the loose.
We just want to know who the person is, bring him to justice, because at the end of the day, it's my baby sister.
We would just like what anybody would like, justice for her.
Now, we reached out to Hartford Police for an update on the case. They tell us no suspect information is available at this time and no one has been taken into custody. This investigation still ongoing.
Well, whenever a loved one dies, no matter the circumstances, we always want one thing: more time. But for the family of Jayla Heaven, they're not only using this time to privately grieve, but to publicly speak out on street violence and about the young woman who touched their lives.
I will let her pain motivate me to love harder, laugh harder, be happier, because those are things she brought to my life.
While a family grieves,
and I would tell her how grateful I am and how much I love her and how lucky I am to have her.
a community calls for justice.
We have families that are afraid to sit out on the porch. We have people that don't want to walk the streets anymore.
And a police investigation remains open and active.
They're caught in the crossfire.
Jayla Heaven, the unintended victim of a shooting at a house party here on Schultes Place in Hartford on July 4th. She was shot 3 times.
They were running, trying to get out of harm's way.
The 22-year-old, known for her radiant smile and passion for cooking, leaves a legacy that lives on through those who she loved, like her grandfather, Michael.
Jayla would call you and say, "Granddad, I love you so." And it'd be so much.
Hartford police tell Fox 61 they've made progress in the investigation. Video evidence is being reviewed, and several people have provided tips.
They're getting close. They said it looks good.
And while an arrest may bring justice, it won't bring back a life that was so unjustly taken by an ever-increasing wave of gun violence.
We need to pay attention to allow young people growing up to be able to go to a party and come back home to their parents without being shot up, without being killed.
And Jayla leaves behind 2 sisters, a brother, her mother, her grandmother, and her grandfather. Services are being planned for sometime next week here at the Howard K. Funeral Home. Reporting in Hartford, Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
Yeah, Keisha, Mike, this month, Jayla Heaven's family should be celebrating her 23rd birthday. Instead, they're planning her funeral. And they're hoping someone comes forward to tell police what happened.
Jayla was the light, and that's why we're here. We wanted to light up all of these candles.
In the shadow of grief, family and friends came together to remember Jayla Heaven, lighting candles just feet away from where she was shot.
Somebody cut the life short of somebody who could have been anything she wanted to be.
Hartford police say in the early morning hours of July 4th, a physical fight at a house party on Schultes Place led to shots fired. 2 people were hit, 1 survived, Heaven did not. Investigators don't believe either victim was the intended target, that they just ended up caught in the crossfire.
She was a sparkle, she was a light, she was special, she supported everybody.
At a vigil, family described the 22-year-old as someone who was always smiling, always positive, and who loved to cook. And not knowing who shot her has added to their grief.
Whoever knows something, come forward, because if it was your child, that's what you would want, because she had a whole life ahead of her, and somebody took that from her.
Police believe there were dozens of people who saw what happened. They and the family hope someone steps up to shine a light on whoever is responsible.
I do want to get that justice because I just feel like it just wasn't fair.
There's no malice in our heart. There's no malice in her mom's heart. There's no malice in the whole entire family heart. We just asking for what's due to us, justice.
And anyone who may have witnessed what happened that night, who has any information on this case, is asked to call Hartford Police. You can remain anonymous.